Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, just wherever you're watching KMTV from. This is the closing argument, and we are live on Hot FM 107.9. We're also live in Bomi County on Puma FM 106.3. And so today happens to be the celebration of International Midwifery Day across the globe. And so we want to say, hands up, and we want to appreciate our mothers, our sisters who have entered into the field of midwifery all across the country, and they were alleged to help in bringing forth children onto the universe. So we want to appreciate you guys. You are highly appreciated midwife across the country. I want to say thank you for your numerous sacrifices that you continue to carry out. So today edition of the program will bring face to face uh, Madam Madela Cooper, who is our prime guest tonight on the show. And so we will now join Madam Jackie McCay, who is in the US, to begin the show. Good evening and welcome to the closing argument. You're muted. Okay, so you're live. So today happens to be International Midwife Day. And so today the celebration took place at the Morovia Christian Fellowship Center on the Nash Street, where midwives across Liberia converged today in observance of International Midwife Day. And so we took time off to appreciate them for their hard work that is being carried out and the numerous sacrifices they continue to give out to the people of Liberia in the midst of mounting challenges.
Definitely. Good evening to our one of good evening. Yeba, how are you doing today?
Well, I'm okay. It's very uh, dark in the city of Morovia, and it's raining. It's been raining since 4 o'clock this evening, and so as we speak, Morovia is dark, and the management of LDC is telling us that the CRSG's land from the Africans is on course. So I'm wondering as to why is it that we are receiving more rains in the the month of May, and
Right.
then you are telling us that we are on course with the CLSG land on Africans, but then the continuous absence of current in Monrovia and even Painesville uh, is something that we need to take into consideration, because you on Wednesday spoke of this, and so the management came back with a rebuttal saying that the information is not true and we are on course. So we'd like to get the views of the LEC management as to where exactly do we stand.
Well, as you know, LEC did release a letter sometime last week, uh, and saying that the CSLG line is going to be disconnected. It's not going to be available for some time. So I don't know if that process has started as of yet. We'll see. But regardless, even if we don't have the CSLG, I hope our country is able to, provide the best service possible to the Liberian people. So we're going to go ahead and greet our viewers who are listening from Liberia. Good evening to everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning to our viewers around the world. Welcome to the May 5th edition of the closing argument. We have an exciting, a fascinating, captivating, invigorating show today. We are going to have a very special guest who is the only female presidential candidate this year, during our elections this year. Madam Magdala Cooper will be joining us very, very shortly. and we're going to have a fascinating conversation with her. I want to apologize to our viewers. We've been having technical difficulties, the internet issue. The rain, of course, doesn't help it in Liberia because we are broadcasting for Liberia from Liberia. So, but I'm glad that we are finally on the show. So please click the like button and share the show because we are about to have a fascinating program today on the closing argument. Kev, how are you doing today?
Thank you. So I'm trying to go backstage and will be coming back intermittently.
Okay, what else is going on in Morovia? Yeva, we'll be bringing on our special guest within the next 4 minutes.
Well, Morovia and the city of
Other than the
Kakata,
rain,
yeah, so we experienced a bit of uh, accident cases across Monrovia and the city of Kakata in Magibi today. And so there was spread discussion with the issue of the leak audio from the angle of the Morovia City Corporation mayor and the former CEO of Spoon Network. So these are conversations that are being talked about in public areas as we go about since the morning hours up to current.
you said secret videos.
Audio, leak audio.
Okay, leak audios. Okay, so we'll talk about that at some point during the show. Kev, how are you doing?
I'm doing
How's your
great.
day?
My day is going pretty great because this is the weekend. Um, and weekend is always uh, good, especially if you don't work on the weekend. I don't work on the weekend. I do actually work from home, but weekend I got some slack and just have some, you know, family time.
That's right. Family time. There's nothing like family time. Very, very
Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
Very, very
Yeah,
important. Yeah, it's exciting.
yeah, yeah.
You got any special plan this
The
weekend?
producer was talking. The producer was talking about a lake audio tape that is out there um, with some folks on our former network planning to destabilize the country and planning to destabilize uh, uh, certain things that are happening. I would say some good things are happening, trying to uh, turn it into another way. So the audio tip that is out there is about folks from our former network planning um, how to make people feel disgruntled, paying people, and also uh, try to use the system in this country for asylum in America. Talking about um, hyping the situation in Liberia, come up with stories like we actually in a Wild Wild West country that so some people can get. Some of those guys live on that. Folks like Jerome Roger, that's what he do. You come, for example, if you come from Liberia, you don't have your paper, you lie on the government and tell them they are killing people, they make it look dangerous, and then you get your asylum. So the tip is out there and a very serious why they come on. So my former network is part of that scam that going around and saying things. But it's something that I will ask our guests are coming on because she's a very straightforward speaker. and and she don't shy away of speaking. I disagree with her politically. I disagree with her, but she
Mm-hmm.
speaks her mind. She speaks her mind. It's something I want to ask her if that's good for the country. In order to get your status in America, you have to lie on the country, hype things, and we listen to them. We listen to them doing that. We want to destroy the country because that's the way they live. So my former network is part of the scheme, part of that plan.
Okay, so we will talk about that
Hmm.
more in details.
Yeah.
Again, to our listeners, our viewers, we want to welcome you to today's Friday edition of the closing argument. Please continue to click the like button and share. Very, very soon, within the next 2 to 3 minutes, we'll be having our special guest, Her Excellency Madam Magdala Cooper, who is the only female political aspirant this year who is running for president. She's a presidential hopeful, and that's going to be exciting for us this year. And as a female, I must say I am so happy that we have a female who's running in the race this year. She is also a philanthropist. She is a business consultant, and we are very, very excited to have her on. So please click that like button and the share button, and she will be on very, very shortly. Very, very shortly. Dr. Peabody, how are you doing?
One, two, one, two.
Dr. People, go ahead. Are we hear you? Go ahead. I don't think we hear him.
To our viewers, we've been having technical difficulties again. They from Liberia, I guess, with the weather. So we are almost set, and then within the next 2 minutes, we'll be bringing on our special guest, Madam Magdala Cooper. Oh, he had to go back up. So I heard there's a terrible accident in Liberia. Is that due to the weather where two trucks or a truck fell overboard? Did you hear about it, Kev?
I saw pictures of things, but I didn't try to look into it because I had some work issue that I was going through, but I didn't follow through on that.
Yeah, that was terrible. Okay.
Yeah. So let's bring our guest on that
Okay.
Jackie, and let's continue because of time factor on the guest.
Yes, and I
So we
was
can
waiting for
continue to
Dr.
go.
Peabody to come back on. Are we
Yeah, he
still
will
having
join.
our guest panelist, Sam Jackson, on the show?
Yeah, he said he will come on. I spoke to him like a few seconds ago. He driving home. He said he will come on later on. So let's
Okay,
get the
there
ball
she
rolling with
is.
our
Our
yes.
There she is, our guest, Madam
We got
Magdala Cooper. Can you hear us? Just to test the sound.
Yes, 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 I can. I can hear you guys. Absolutely.
And welcome, welcome, welcome to the closing argument. We are very, very excited to have you on the program today. I, as a female, I am especially excited to have you on the show today and because this year is election year and you are the only female presidential hopeful who's out there. And so today we'll be talking about women in politics. You are definitely, you've been on the political field in Liberia since 2017. You bring a special flavor as a female to the political dynamics in Liberia, and you also do a lot of work as a philanthropist in Liberia too. Would love to hear about that. Would love to hear about your vision. Oh, she went off. Okay, Kev. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
we
thank
got
you.
you back on. Try you said now?
The network is pretty bad.
Yeah, that's why we're having issues trying to even come on because we broadcasting from Liberia. Our team was having difficulty coming airing the show as
Wow.
well. Once again, to our many viewers and listeners, welcome to the closing argument. We now have our special guest on, Madam Presidential Hopeful, Madam Magdala Cooper. Madam Magdala Cooper, welcome once again uh, to the closing argument.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if you guys can hear
We can
me.
hear you very well. Dr. Peabody, you want to
Seem like
adjust your
Very
camera a
seem like
good.
little
I'm
bit?
I've tried both
We can only
networks,
see
Lone
your
Star
eyes.
and Orange, and it's just fluctuating.
seem like I'm I can't can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very
Oh,
well. We can only see your
you
eyes.
can
So
you see me okay?
I don't know why. It seemed like the internet where
Oh, that's terrible. I okay,
okay,
let me
you're
switch
good
to.
now.
Is this better?
Yes, we can see you well.
Okay, very good. Excellent.
Okay,
Very good. Very good. I just want to apologize for the network. The network is pretty poor tonight.
yes, definitely. The network is bad in Liberia right now, but we're going to make do with the program and do our best. If not, we'll have to convert to a phone conversation, which we don't want to because we really want your face to be visible as we have a conversation with you today. So at this time, there we go. Mr. Tomalin George is on. Madam, can you hear us? Madam Cooper?
The line
It's
is
off and
the
on. It's
line
off and
is
I hear
so
some and I
bad
lose
in
most of it.
Liberia.
We need a special
It is very
we need
bad.
a
I
special
have
internet.
two phones. I'm going between two lines right now
Okay,
just to see which one is much better.
right.
Perhaps I can just have a video and I can call you guys in. Is that possible?
Okay, we can do that. Tomalin? Tomalin, can you hear?
Yeah, yes. You can hear me?
Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's still not very clear.
Okay. So what we can do is to call you in and then we start the show.
Sure, sure. It seems like it's working a little better now. Can you hear me okay? In full
Yes, we can
sentences?
definitely hear you okay. We can definitely hear you okay. We can see you okay.
Excellent. Very good. I think it's getting a little better.
Okay, definitely. So we're going to go ahead and get started. To our viewers, once again, we apologize because we are having technical difficulty with the internet. The weather in Liberia is not the best at this moment, but we're going to do our best to provide a fascinating show today as we have our
Right.
special guest on, presidential hopeful, Madam Magdala Cooper. Madam Cooper, welcome once again, and please give us your opening statement so that we can get the ball rolling. And once again, sorry for all the internet and technical difficulties. One day we will be able to air our program in Liberia, whether the weather is bad or not, without any serious hiccups. So we look forward to that day.
Well, Dr. McCay, I want to say thank you for having me on this evening. And to the rest of the panelists, I want to say thank you to all of you and see my familiar faces, old friends on here. But it's great to be a part of the discussion as to what's happening in our country, our beloved Mama Liberia, as we, are facing several issues at this very moment leading up to the 2023 January election, general and presidential election. We have a plot of issues and problems on the table that we all need to discuss. So I do look forward to this discussion this evening, and hopefully we will have a fruitful one that will yield to some solutions to some of our national problems. So once again, thank you for having me on here this evening.
Thank you, Madam Cooper. And we are going to start off definitely by talking about women in politics because, of course, you are the only female in the presidential race this year. So we'll be talking about women in politics and leadership positions. What are your thoughts about it? I did see a video about you where you did an interview recently and you talked about how tough it is for women to be in politics and to play a major role and be taken seriously in the political scheme, not just in Liberia, it's all around the world. Liberia made progress back in 2005 when we had our first female president on the continent of Africa. So that was very, very good for Liberia. Right now we have a vice president who is a female. So Liberia is making some progress on the legislative front. We do have some female in parliament, but we don't have nearly enough women in the legislature. So do you mind talking about that? Did she go off? Yes, she went off again. Oh. Producer, is she in the background? Should we call her in? Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
But I think
I can hear you though.
Okay.
yeah, I think
I'm going to pause. Tomalin, please take over because Mrs. Cooper office is calling me right now. Oh, I see her. She's back on. Madam Cooper?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Should we do a phone call interview or should we
Go ahead.
continue with the internet?
Well, the internet is pretty spotty. I hear you every other word. But if you can hear me, we can do a phone interview. That's fine as well.
I can hear you right now.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Well, I don't know, but
Should I continue, Dr. McCay?
Yes, go ahead for now. If not, we'll just have to call you in. Tomalin, can we call her in?
Should I continue?
I'm sure we can call her.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, go ahead, Madam Cooper. Did you get the question that I asked?
Okay. I did. So what I was saying was that Liberia once again was hailed for electing the first, for bringing about the first democratically elected female head of state. But since the 2017 election, we've seen a decline in female participation in the body politics of Liberia.
Wow, I was just in Ganta about 2 weeks ago.
Tommy, we can hear you. Tommy, you're talking over the guest. We can hear you. I don't think Tommy is hearing him. Yeah. No, Tomalin, we hear you. You're not hearing us. You're not hearing us.
I just got caught with this phone.
Tomalin, yeah.
He is live.
Yeah, yeah, but I sharing with you guys. So,
He said he's been sick.
hello.
Madam Cooper,
Tomalin, we hear you. You have a discussion and you go over the guest. Yeah, the guest is speaking. Yeah.
Madam Cooper, we'd like to apologize for that other technical glitch.
It's quite all right.
Yes,
Yes.
and you did talk about Madame Salif.
So what? So what I was saying, it was yes, right. We're talking about Madame Sirleaf, and since Madame Sirleaf's departure, we've seen that there has been a decline in women political representation and participation in Liberia's body politics. And look, there's so many reasons why I can list tonight, but to say the least, women have had a lot of problems having access to finances. And so elections are very expensive. To run a campaign is very expensive. Unlike the United States and other developed countries, when you declare yourself as a candidate, folks who will support you or who follow you sort of raise funds for you to support you. But in Liberia, it's quite the contrary. Once you put your hands up and say you are going to be a candidate, everyone expects you to support them. And with the high levels of poverty we have in the country, there's so many issues that we have to resolve before we can get folks to believe in our messages, in our our platform, our manifesto. So it becomes very expensive. And most women, especially women, have zero access to the economy. More women in Liberia have access to the microeconomy, which is just the the paper sellers. And so it makes it very difficult for women to run successful campaigns because, you know, they just don't have enough resources and they don't have access to the outside world where they can go and look for resources. And so it makes it very, very difficult for women to succeed at running for office. But that's something that we want to change. A few years ago, we started to work on a quota system that compel political parties to make sure they have 30% of women on their list of candidates when submitting it to the election commission. And so political parties came up and said, look, the law says we shall endeavor to ensure. And so endeavor means you should try to.
Right.
And so political parties got away with just submitting a list of men without, bothering to put a woman's name on the ballot. So it has been a problem for Liberia. It has been a major problem. The women are lacking the resources. The men are, the political parties are boys' club, where boys gather and have conversations that's comfortable to them. They don't want women coming in to put in checks and balances, as we always do, come in and shake up the club. And so there are a plethora of reasons why women are just not getting their names on the ballots. And another thing, I'll say this before I turn the microphone back to you. The political parties have structures in place. There's this thing called the executive committee. The executive committee is the governing body of the political party. And those executive committees are oftentimes run by men.
Right.
They have these things called the women's wing and a youth wing, and they'll have disabled wings. And so the men go in a room, sit at a table, make all of the decisions, and decide which of their buddies and their friends they're going to give the seats to. They'll rally for their friend, lobby for their friends. But who's there to lobby for the female potential candidate or aspirants? Most men don't lobby for women because they think women are going to come in and put in all kinds of rules and regulation, want things to be done a certain way, and the boys just want to be boys. I know I'm saying this, and some men are saying, "Oh, you're very discriminatory to men," but the reality is, political parties are made up by men, for men, and for the interests of men, and so it's not democratic, unfortunately. But now, if women want to penetrate that system, they have to get rid of the women's wing and include women on the decision-making table. which is the executive committee.
Exactly. Okay, that's correct, Madam Cooper, and I so agree with you. And that's why having somebody like you in the race that gives hope to other women, and also the younger girls as well. You know, looking to make
Right,
decision on the importance of participating in politics and also in other leadership positions, whether it's even in the private sector where you have
right.
corporations. A lot of women don't feel that they can excel to higher heights to become the next CEO or for a corporation, for a company, or to even own their own business and initiative. So I am so glad that you are in that race. Regarding that, I will turn over the mic to Kev. Kev, do you have question for Madam Cooper? Kev, as it relates to women in politics,
Uh-huh.
because we are talking about women in politics right now.
You 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 know, I think women should have let me say hello to Miss Magdala Cooper. How are you, ma'am? I think we on another platform, my previous platform. We we were on it, so I can let me say hello to you. But women in politics should have a greater role. That's part of our disagreement, or that's part of our differences in our. Oh, she going off?
Wow.
Is this a current one?
You can hear me, Miss Magdala Cooper? Oh, she going off. Yeah, but let me say, there's a lot of issue going on. I just spoke to the producer in Liberia. The internet issues upon issues because it's raining. Even in America, if you have rain that coming, you have some issues with your internet. That's how internet is. But I wish you know. Oh, okay, she back on. You can hear me, Miss Cooper. You can hear me.
No, she can't hear you. I
She
don't
can't
think so.
hear me. She doing her best to come on this thing. You can hear me now.
Not yet.
She doing thumbs up. I'm
Oh,
not
she can
sure.
hear you. She can hear you. We can't hear her though.
We can hear you, but you can hear us, but we can hear you. Maybe she mute. Can you unmute or something?
Can we call her on WhatsApp? We can call her on WhatsApp.
Yeah, maybe we can call on the phone and see.
I'm not sure if my mic will work from my end. Tomalin, will you be able to call her on WhatsApp? It's Tomalin or Kev.
To call her.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, let me see. Let me
Did
see.
you see her number?
Let me let the studio call her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
We are trying to our viewers. We apologize again for the technical difficulties. We are trying to get Madam Cooper on the phone so that hopefully we'll not have this interruption and so that the interview can go on smoothly. Please click the like button and the share button. Once again, with the weather, we are having technical difficulties in the studio broadcasting the show right now, but we at this moment we are trying to call Madam Cooper so we can continue this fascinating interview with our only female political aspirant who is running for president this year. So are we trying to call her right now?
he- Um, yeah, let me. I think I just.
Let me just say hello to our viewers. To Borley Thompson.
Jackie, can you call her because the studio is calling her? She probably not recognizing the number, but they're calling her. Yeah,
Okay.
just call her. That is studio calling her.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yes. They're calling her right now, right?
Yeah, they've been calling her, but she probably not recognizing the number.
Okay. We have another number that for the studio to call. Let me put it out there. Yes, the number. So they can call her on that number. So once again, welcome to our guest, Borley Thompson, Wella Blay, Wolf Lion, Sammy Molu. We just want to say hello to our viewers and welcome to the closing argument. Once again, we would like to apologize for the technical difficulties that we are having in broadcasting the show today. We have such a fascinating guest, the only female political aspirant, political hopeful in the race today, who is running for president, Madam Magdala Cooper. And we are unfortunately having technical difficulties. Right now, we are trying to call in to her so that we can continue this fascinating conversation with Madam Magdala Cooper. So, thank you to our guests, to our viewers for your patience, because sometimes these things happen. We come on the show, we are all set, and then unfortunately the unforeseen happens where we have technical glitches and difficulties while we are live on the show. So we like to thank all our viewers and listeners for your patience, and keep clicking the like button and sharing the show, because we will be on within the next 2 minutes. Tomalin, Mr. Chief Sintomalin George, you just came back from Liberia. While we waiting on the guests, how is everything?
Well, I came back not too well.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Is it changing weather?
I don't know about it. My last few days before I could leave, I had this. I remember I was in last weekend. I was in Saclapie,
Right.
and I had this heavy cold, coughing a lot, and I just had ginger and drank chewing on ginger and salt, but it was tough for me the last few days. So since I came, I've been trying to check it out, but at least I'm on medication now. Hopefully, I will feel much better by before the weekend. The weekend ends.
Okay, make sure you drink a lot of fluids that you go to the doctor, because usually the change in climate, and all the traveling up and down, sometimes that happens. You come down with something.
Yeah, well, that's true though, and but the doctor will tell you say
Or
all
you
that.
ate too much fufu, a dumb boy,
No, GB,
or GB, too
I
much
don't.
GB in
I,
Nima, or what? To
in
fufu
Lima,
in Grand
I
Bassa? Did you go to Grand Bassa to eat dumb boy?
no,
And
the Bassa, I'll go there the next time when I
oh,
go
okay,
next time I'll visit Bassa. But I visited at least Bong, my GB, Nima, and Montserrat. So, yeah, I was, so.
how are our wonderful people in Liberia? How are they doing?
People like Liberia, they are strong. Everybody's hanging there, trying to see what happens for the October 10th elections. And as I always said, people are gearing up for the elections, making sure they register to vote. In fact, every time I met people, I would ask them whether they register to vote. The first thing I ask, you register to vote?
Right.
And to most of them, most of the time, they tell me yes, yes, yes. And so people are registering to vote. No matter how long it takes, they are in the line. They are registering to vote, and hopefully, they want to see. It depends which side of the divide you're on. If you're on President Weah's side, you want to see him re-elected. If you're on Boyka's side, you want to see Boyka elected. You want to see Cummings elected. Depending on whose side of the divide you find yourself. But I can tell you for sure that people are going to register in droves and they're going to vote, and their voices will be heard through their votes. So
Yeah, but hello.
Yeah, so we have had Manakopa on the line for the past 4 minutes, but I don't
Oh,
know. Yes, so I think we can take her. She's in the back. We are taking her via the phone line. Manakopa, good evening. Welcome once again to the closing argument.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It's good to be here. Much better sound.
oh, much better. A breath of fresh air. Madam Cooper, thank you so much for your patience and understanding. Of course, these are things that are taking place beyond all of our control. But once again, thank you so much. We appreciate you a whole lot for your patience and for even being with us this long as we go through this technical struggle.
It's quite all right. It's my pleasure to be here with you.
Okay, I see on the screen a video interview of you talking about women in politics as we continue the conversation before we move on to the next round of discussion. I hope the studio can, well, they have changed that video right now. Studio, can you bring in that video and can you play it with sound? That's the video of you discussing during an interview and talking about women in politics.
Okay.
I'm not sure if they have the sound. Oh, the day is an interesting day with this technical stuff.
Yeah,
It's
so we just need to continue with the show.
okay. Okay, we'll continue with the show. We'll just okay. So, Madam Cooper, yeah, you were concluding and talking, which you did. I think you did. If there's anything you can add, and then Keff will come in, and then Tomalin will come in, and then we'll go on the next round of the discussion to conclude on the women in politics. If there's anything else you want to add from your last conversation, and then Keff will come in with his question, and then Tomalin as we discuss women in politics.
Right, right. What I was saying before is that women need more access to finances.
Right.
Women are determined. They want to be part of the decision making of just body politics and across the board. They want to be full participating member of the decision of our nation on every level, but women are oftentimes kept in a backdrop because a lot of their male counterparts feel that will bring much to the table in terms of financial measurements. And so once women have access to finances, I think that's when women will be respected as equal participants on the playing field. But so it's almost like a chicken and egg scenario. If women are not part of the decision making processes, there is no way women are going to have access to the finances. And until women have access to finances, women cannot necessarily participate in the body politics or decision making. So it's it's a chicken and egg scenario we're faced with. And with irrespective of all of the investments from our development partners, the international communities, there's still, so much training going on by the various international communities here on teaching women how to fundraise, on teaching women how to run successful campaigns, on about they're trying to teach but no one is giving women $1 to run a successful campaign. Very few of us who have worked outside in the international world and have made our own money, we come, we're home and we have our monthly income coming in and we can afford to do some things. But most women that are grassrooters coming from the hinterland, coming from the grassroots community, those women are well known in their communities. They are connected to their voters. They are strong in their communities. But the single thing they're missing is access to finances to run successful campaigns. And so we have to stop kidding around ourselves and start giving women money. If we're fighting for a quota system, that quota system should come with some finances. So all of the trainings, all of the hints on how to run a successful campaign, to me, it's all great. But if you cannot invest financially in a woman, look, we're just kidding ourselves around here. Say we coming here to teach women how to do this and teach women how to do that, but no one cares to give women $1. It's a joke. It's a complete joke.
Definitely, definitely. It is a complete joke with the financial challenges. I know NEC, the National Elections Commission, has a women's wing where they engage women who are interested in politics. But what Madam Cooper are you finding in Liberia other than the financial challenges that women face? Do you find, I mean, what is your observation? Are women interested though? Because you are the only female, but are women interested in such aspiration? Of course, the legislature, we have more women who want to participate, but at the highest level, you are the only
Yes.
female. Are women interested? Do you find women interested in these positions at all on the ground?
Absolutely. I've met several women who would like to run for office, especially the highest seat in the land. But once again, the fear of the violence that could potentially be waged against a woman, the fear that if anything happens to her, she's the breadwinner of her family. Who will then take care of her family? The fear of the media, just not just media, but the attacks. It's the fear overwhelm most of these women. And so they rather just go in their little corners and sit there. But you got to be bold, in my view. You have got to stop thinking of oneself because I'm in this race and I don't think about anything that anyone can do to McDella Cooper. I'm here for Liberia. And I think a lot of folks personalize it. Or if they say that thing about me, I will feel bad about myself. Or if they do that thing to me, I'll feel no. But I do see, Dr. McCay, I do see that there are so many women in Liberia that want to vie for office, but on top of the financial inability and the violence, the potential violence, the attacks, the just the sort of discrimination that you go through, it scares a lot of women. It scares a lot of women. So yes, to your question, there are a lot of women that want to participate in our body politics, but the fear of all the things that can happen, and then over that, you have no money. It holds a lot of women back.
Right. Right. Okay, so I will at this time go to my I think when we come back I will ask you how do we get financial funding for women. But I'll go to Kev, Tomalin, and then Dr. Peabody. Kev, go ahead.
Oh, you guys can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Because I saw the screen. Ms. Cooper, how were you? I know we're having a lot of rain in Liberia, your internet and issues, but can you hear me, Ms. Cooper?
Miss Cooper?
Jackie,
Yeah, we can hear you, Kev.
yeah,
Miss
but she can
Cooper?
hear me. Who put is something on the screen right now? Probably a black girl. I don't know.
No, but it's studio. It's the studio The studio need to check to see if she's still on, or did we drop the call? Studio? Okay, we are still having technical glitches. Is there any way to contact the studio to find out that we disconnect from them? Are they on? Madam Cooper? Oh man, today is a tough day. So, Tomalin, until we can get her back on, go ahead. You were talking about Liberia, and the voters, what the voter registration. You were talking about that.
Yes, the voters registration is ongoing. You know, the first 6 counties ended, and this in fact this is the last phase. The 9 counties it will end on May 11th. I think May 11th, right? I'm sure. Yeah, May 11th they will end, and the remaining 9 counties, and these are vote-rich counties. You got Bong, Nimba, and Bassa. No, Bong, Nimba, and the other some eastern counties. So people are registering to vote. People are leaving their markets. They are doing their businesses to go register to vote, and people are just encouraging them to keep on. At the end of the day, hopefully by because I know hopefully by June, July, we know the shape of the state of the race where it is. Right now, everybody trying to form the ticket. You know, President we already got his ticket.
Yeah, Tomalin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Madam Mandela Cooper is live on the line. She's getting
Okay.
your, but I
Okay.
don't know why is it that you guys are not getting her.
I don't know.
Okay, can she talk so that we can see?
Madam Cooper, can you speak loud? Hello? Madam Cooper? Madam Cooper? Hello?
Yes, I'm here. I can hear you guys.
Okay. So, Kev, can you hear her?
I can hear you very well, loud and clear.
I'm hearing her now.
Okay. Can she hear me?
Yes, yes. So go ahead.
Okay. Madam Cooper, can you hear me? She can hear
She
you, but
says
she
she
can't
can
hear
hear
us.
you.
I'm not hearing her.
Hello?
Madam Cooper, can you
Madam
hear me?
Cooper?
No, not you in the studio. We have to ask her because you might hear her, we not hearing her. Madam Cooper, can you hear me?
She heard me earlier when I asked the question.
Yeah, with you, Jackie, she heard you, but not me. She not hear us right now. She not answering. She can't hear us.
Hello?
Madam Cooper, can you hear us? This is a test sound.
I can hear you very well, loud and clear.
Okay, Kev, talk.
Okay. Okay, Madam Cooper, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Okay. Madam Cooper, I have a question for you, but let me say this before I ask my question. Um, women in power is very, very important in Liberia. Not only in Liberia, in the entire world, because I think women got a lot of things to bring to the table. But let me ask you this: we we witnessed one of the most outspoken woman within the collaboration with the Unity Party. Um, Senator Yomli Kanga, that on her statement that she said all the polls shows that the JMB and Yomli Kanga ticket was formidable, but he passed over her. I'm asking you this as a man who served under a female presidency, should know the worth of a female. What say you about
Right.
what say you about his judgments about female who pass over a female like Yomli Kanga Lawrence?
Well, look, I cannot answer for the actions of JNB. So, but from my perspective and analyzing the situation, I almost want to say, look, President Tubman used to say, Kuku Jumuku. Until you're inside, you don't know. So it will be actually immature of me to pretend that I know why he made the decision he made to step over someone who was there with him all along and go and select someone who just came into the picture. I have no idea. But
Uh-huh.
but here's the thing we all have to remember. We have to remember that we have a very serious issue on hand. And some wise man or woman said that pain can be forgotten in the urgency of purpose. Pain can be forgotten in the urgency of purpose. Now, I would just say to my sister, Yomni Kanga Lawrence, we have a battle to win here as an opposition group. The purpose, which is Liberia, should take precedence over the JNB's picking her. So I don't want to dwell on the sore, the betrayal, the frustration that she feels right now. We would never downplay that. But again, I repeat, pain can be forgotten in the urgency of purpose. We have got to focus on the purpose, which is Liberia, not our individual self. We have got to focus on the fact that we are the number 113 most hungry country in the world. We have got to look at the fact that we have this incumbent government that is destroying every fabric of our nation. This country needs to be rescued drastically. And so I will speak to the heart of my sister, Yomni Kanga Lawrence, and say, dear sister, we have a mission on hand. Whether you are picked to be VP or you're not picked, your love for Mama Liberia has to stand taller and stronger than your being selected as a VP. Magdala Cooper would like to be the president of Liberia. But we have got to join forces to defeat this incompetent incumbent government. We have got to put all of our personal things aside and see who is the most electable within the opposition bloc and support that ticket. And that's what we need to do right now, not our individuals' problems.
Okay.
Okay, let me ask you this. Edith Gonglo were from Nimba County. She spoke on another station, OKFM. She talked about lack of support from JMB. At that time, she thought that JMB were going to support her, but lack of support and support on another direction, another female. I'm seeing a pattern of Jose Iman Bokai, lack of support for female, even though he served, even though a woman chose him. But I'm seeing a pattern of lack of support on a female. She spoke on it, and she was actually angry on that station that she never received support. I want you to talk about his character without supporting women. His how would I say it? His attitude towards women, not seeing women as an equal, not looking at women as part of the society, not looking at women that women should be up there. I want you to speak on that because not only Yomli Kanga, but Edith Gonglo and all the women are complaining on Jose Yumon Boka attitude towards women, supporting women in the highest office. I want you to speak on that. I don't know if you think it's normal or I think it should be it should be addressed in a way because he's a elderly in our politics.
Okay.
Yes, right. So, unfortunately, I'm not on the camera, so I can't see who was just speaking to me.
That was Keff.
Was it
Keff
her
Hassan.
or was it Tomalin?
No, it was Keff Hassan.
Well, so the question was Hassan. Okay, it was Hassan. Now, I want to repeat again what I said before. We have got to focus on Liberia and the removal of this incumbent government. We have focus here. Can you guys hear me okay?
Perfectly. We can hear you perfectly well.
Okay. We have got to, I will say election day hasn't happened yet. We don't know who's going to win this election. But we have got to get together in the opposition bloc to build a strong ticket to win the next election. We do not want George Weah being a president for the next 6 years in this country. What's going to happen to women in this country will be worse than anything we're currently accusing Joseph Boakai of. What has happened in the past 5, almost 6 years to women in this country, the decline of women participation and representation under George Weah administration is worse than anything that we would have in an opposition-led government. So I understand that women feel a little sensitive right now, but the days ahead will be much better if we can change government. So I want Edith Gonglo, who's a dear friend of mine. I want Yamini Kanga Lawrence, who's my sweet sister. We have got to focus on the win and not whether Joseph Boakai supported me at any level or never supported me at all. I will say this much. Joseph Boakai has never supported anything I've done. But when push comes to shove, we need to remove George Weah from presidency. And if it comes down to it, where we see after doing a survey or polls, if Joseph Boakai is the person that we have to carry, or if Magdalena Cooper or Alexander Cummings, we have got to decide who we're going to carry. That's my focus for the win.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Cooper. We'll now go on to Dr. Peabody and then to Tomalin.
Miss Cooper, really good to see you. Good to hear your voice again. My question to you have advocated the entire the start of this show all about women, right? And I feel that it is very imperative that women should have those rights. Women should be given the attention.
Yeah.
Women should be supported. A lot of women should be encouraged when it comes to politics in our country. They should be given equal chance because we know that women can really move things forward. We saw the leadership of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We We have some other great women that are moving, but not a lot of them. Why wouldn't you, Kev, ask you a question that I would like to piggyback to when you talk about Yumli Kanga? I mean, there's a woman who gave up, technically gave up her party. She went with Mr. Barker everywhere. She did everything. And don't you think leaving her out and selecting a male, don't you think is some kind of discrimination when it comes to the women in our politics?
In politics, we have to understand we have to understand that politics can change in 24 hours. Today, you can be the hot cake, tomorrow your ratings can go down. This is not a woman-man thing right now. I think, look, I would like to see 50-50 across the table of participation in our body politics. But we have got to stop distracting ourselves from all of these other things and focus on the win. First of all, we have bigger problems on hand. The election is already pre-rigged. The election commission does not have the money they need to do an election on October 10th. The biometrics BVR, the biometrics voters registration is taking place in two phases because the National Election Commission does not have the money. There are bigger issues on the table today that we need to focus on other than a gender issue. I'm a feminist to the bone. I'm a staunch supporter of women's rights. I'm a staunch supporter of women's political representation and participation. But as of today, we have a much bigger issue, a much bigger fish to fry than the picking of women or not picking of women. I would be the first one to flag anyone who I felt was discriminating against women. So today, the conversation we, the opposition bloc, or individuals in the opposition bloc should be having is how we can win this election. I don't think we have any time left to be talking about who was selected, who was not selected.
Okay, thank you.
One question,
go
right?
ahead, Dr. Peabody.
My second question to you is, you stated that the election is pre-rigged. What do you mean by that?
Every sign have shown that this election is pre-rigged. We can go into the details of it, and I can tell you for free. The attempt to break up this biometrics into two phases is an attempt to rig the election. The trucking of voters or citizens across the country, you vote in this first phase, you go to the other county, they truck you to another place to vote. The biometric system was not properly vetted. The company was not properly vetted. They were purposefully brought in to rig the Liberian election for the win of George Weah. The idea of asking small children to go and register to vote who are not of the constitutional granted age, and there is no verification as to who's voting and who's not voting. The other idea of discriminating against certain individuals. There's a bucket list of things, irregularities in this biometric voting system or registration system that has sent on enough red flags to say these are things that are always a prelude to rigging of the election.
Okay.
All right, Tomalin.
Good evening, Madam Cooper. I hope you are doing well at the end, and it's always good to interact with you.
You
Madam
too.
Cooper, I heard you said that for disclaimer, I'm an independent person. I do not support no political party in Liberia. But I heard you saying that you women should rally the troops to make President We are one-term president. But this president, he considers himself feminine in chief, He has more women in his cabinet than any other president in Liberian history. He got a lot of women in top position in the country. He have empowered a lot of women, and especially young women too. He have brought on board. And today, the women are dominating the government. I mean, he has lived up to the threshold of 30% women in the administration. He even support 30% of women being in the legislature, and he have women serving as ambassadors and cabinet ministers and public head in public corporation. And even his wife, the first lady, he's involved with. He encouraged her with the City of Hope to build such a like modernized facility for abandoned women. So how can you reconcile that he's not a supporter of women and that he's not done much for women, and we should make him a one-term president? You think the critics will people will say he deserves another chance?
Okay, so let me just
And
say this.
Tomalin just spoke. Tomalin, did you
I
say your
believe it
name?
was Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
A group of young people conducted an event, and the event was held, I believe it was at Boulevard Palace. And these young people were sponsored by the Swedish Embassy and some other international agencies across Liberia. These young people listed 281 items, 292 items that promises if this president came in and made to the Liberian people. And those 292 items were not fulfilled. Now, he can talk about being a feminist in chief. I think he's more of a commander in chief. You know, they've stolen enough money. They stole enough money from our country. And the thought of them going back for another 6 years to become a autocracy leadership, authoritarian, we don't want to take the chance on having some sort of authoritative leadership. We want someone who understands democracy, because when you talk about the firing of the minister from telecom, you fire someone just because they had the democratic right to go to a rally, and you fire them from their job because they're not a sycophant of yours. That's an attitude of an authoritarian. And when you talk about feminists in chief, you have about 19 plus ministries in this country. How many women are appointed ministers to ministries? What, 2 or 3 maximum women? And that's 30%? No. George Weah and his cronies do not deserve a second term in this country to be president. I'm sorry.
Concerning the issue of the former minister of Post and Telecommunications, yeah, if I were advising the president, I wouldn't have advised him to take that action. But again, the president acted in line with his constitutional prerogative, Article 56. Ministers are appointed and serve at the pleasure of the president. So his removal of Minister Crow is within the confines of the law and of his authority. So, but for political reason, I wouldn't have advised him to do it. But he committed no crime by firing the
Well, I
minister.
don't think he's listening to anybody advice since he's been president.
Well, this president, a recent poll I saw in Liberia, the president still enjoys the confidence of the support of most of his supporters. So, like, I think he's there in the 40%. The election is held today. He will be, one of the top candidates in some of the counties. And with all that is going on, the president claims, he still took his record of being the president to have paved more roads, feeder roads, root roads in the city, and so forth. And
Can you tell the other people to mute their phones? They're very loud in the background.
yeah, y'all meet their phone. Yeah, so the president said he's running on his record for the last 5 and 6 years, and that he claimed that he deserves another 6 years because of what he has done for the people of Liberia, and he believes that he has fulfilled his mandate, his agenda for that he pledged in 1997, in 2017, and so he deserves a second term. But I hear you very strong words that the president should not be reelected. But looking at what's happening right now, I
No,
know former Vice President Barga just selected his running mate, and I was just informed that
right.
Mr. Cummings within maybe 90%, 95% of selecting his running mate. Hopefully by tomorrow, by this time, we'll know his running mate. Hopefully, from what I'm getting from my sources, uh, and so forth. And then you still be running, and then I've not heard your running mate yet, and Taiwan Gonglu too. So with all of these scenario, you think President Weah is, he still has a commanding advantage over the opponents that's seeking to remove him from
Now,
office?
when I travel across the country, I know that people are tired with this government. This government had tricked and have fooled the people. They have lied to the people, and the people across the country, and even people in George Weah's administration don't even want George Weah to go back into power. They're sick and tired of this underperformance, lack of productivity, lack of advancement of our people. They're people from the same CDC. They don't want this man to go back in power. Imagine the masses. People are sick and tired. Children on this George Weah. In 2017, it was a different story. George Weah has been a major failure to this republic, and we can't wait to see him go. We can't wait to see him go. He has stolen enough money from our country, and he needs to take his stolen funds and go and sit somewhere. Otherwise, he's going to be in the Hague in the economic crimes court. I think Weah should be smart and take the advice of his friends and go sit down with the stolen monies that he's taking from Liberia. The Liberian people do not want George Weah to be their president. The Liberian people spoke in 2017. We went in and supported what the people wanted. The people have come back to us and say, we don't want this man, we want this, and that we're going to support this opposition. And so we all have to be realistic. We have to be extremely realistic. Those of us who know that we have the ability to support a stronger ticket, we have got to be realistic. This is not just a participation trophy we're looking for. We're looking forward to removing this den of thieves, this commander thieves. We gotta remove these people. They're bad for our country. They're bad for our country domestically. They're bad for our country internationally on every foreign policy that they can represent. They screw it up. Everything, every trade agreement, they mess it up. The kickbacks they're asking for is too much. We gotta get rid of these people. Unfortunately, no one should be talking about George Weah return to power. We should all be talking about how can the opposition win this coming election, and that is what I'm here to support.
Okay, just one more last question. Madam Cooper, your critics are saying that this is a man that you knew very well prior to him becoming president, and I think you supported him during his 2017 election. And why? I mean, have you ever volunteered to help him to provide some advice to him, or to say, look, because you are a very successful woman, you're a professional woman of international standard, and you would have you have great asset to our country. You could help our country a lot. But then you offer your service to President Weah to say, look, George or President Weah, I would like to help this country, and to make it a better country, make your government a better government. Have you actually ever asked him to assist him, or even if he did not ask you, I mean, did you volunteer to give your service to him, to the country, somebody that you knew very, very well, and I'm sure you knew his ability prior to him becoming president? Do you ever offer your service to the country to help him?
I don't support anyone because of personal connections or personal relationship. I support what's good for our country. I support what the people of Liberia want. The people of Liberia in 2017 wanted George Weah. In the second round, my young bro came to me and said, let's support President Weah or the candidate Weah then, and we supported him. So Liberia do not want him, and we're going to support what the people of Liberia want. You see, this is beyond anything personal. This is beyond anything individual. This is all about Liberia and what the people feel is better for them. And so, look, when these guys came into power, we'll give them 1 year to see what they were going to do, what improvement they were going to make to our country and the lives of our people. And they did nothing but steal, steal, steal. We sat back quietly because we proposed, as you said, did we offer our assistance? Yes, we did. We brought in investors. We brought in folks with lots of money that could invest into our economy. They wanted kickbacks. They did not want investment. They wanted kickbacks. And my investors do not give kickbacks. And so, unfortunately, we had to go to other countries. And the only area in the business community we could invest in Liberia was the private sector. So we heavily invested in the private sector, and we did not invest in public-private partnerships.
Okay, Madam Cooper, thank you so much. You said they wanted kickbacks, and as we know, that's some of the things that keep investors away. We are going to go to the next segment
That's
of
right.
this discussion, Madam Cooper. You are, of course, no doubt, everybody knows that you are running for president. So at this point, we are going to talk about you, the aspirant, the presidential hopeful, the only female who is in the race. Can you talk to us a little bit more about your candidacy and your vision? We had the poster up earlier about displaying your vision and your plan as a political aspirant or presidential candidate for Liberia. What are your thoughts regarding that? What is your platform? Why run? Why is Magdala Cooper running for president? And what is your vision?
Well, when I entered this race, I entered this race because I truly care about my country. I truly care about the betterment of my country. I want to. So I selected amongst a slew of things. I selected a few items that I was going to focus on within my first 100 days. We were going to focus on the low-hanging fruits. We have got to build the economy, build our economy. We have got to build an economy, create jobs for our people, put our people back to work, remove the red tape in doing business.
Okay.
Did we lose her?
I think when they put this poster up, I'm not sure the last time they did it,
Oh
and
yeah.
the sound she went off. Okay, there we
Any
go.
government that's going to come in. The second item on the list was to repair and revamp our healthcare system. A broken healthcare system. The third item on the list is to invest in our education system and make education mandatory while also making provisions to train our young people for the job market. And so those are the three low-hanging fruits I was going to focus my administration on: the economy, health, education, and at the same time, focus on reforms across the board. No one wants to come to a country where corruption is the item of the day. We have got to protect our borders, strengthen our judiciary system, so that our law enforcement can really work to benefit the people of Liberia. There's so many things happening in our law enforcement, rule of law, because our judiciary system is not invested into. We have got to strengthen rule of law in this country. What's on paper is what we do. There's so much echo coming back to me. I'm hearing myself.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you. Right.
Then go
So
ahead.
I was gonna focus on the low-hanging fruits: the economy, healthcare, education, rule of law. Those are the areas I really want to focus on.
Jackie, you muted though.
Oh, I am muted. Sorry about that. So, Madam Cooper, your first 100 days, is there any EO executive order that you will issue within your first 100 days to get things started within the country? What would be your number one executive order that you will issue?
Well, look, executive orders are great. But executive orders are wonderful. But one of the biggest challenge the new government is going to face is the fact that when this CDC-led government is removed from power, there will be no money left to run this country. There will be absolutely no money left. When Madame Sirleaf was leaving, she made it clear to the nation that she was leaving 150 million in the reserve. This government is not going to leave anything, not a dime in the reserve. We have got to focus on finding money to run this country for the first 100 days. So we can issue all of the executive orders. If there's no money, we're starting in a pit, and we're going to have to find a way to out of the pit. And so the first thing I want to do is, even before election, is to figure out how we can lobby across the world with our investment partners, our development partners, to have some resources stored away for the first 100 days to 1 year of this country. So executive orders are, but let's talk about the economy. There will be no money left to run a government. There will be no money left to pay our salaries. So maybe executive order should be how we can summon those individuals to investigate, audit the government, and give a full financial report to the Liberian people as to what was stolen from them and what was left there, so they know exactly where we're starting. Because we can issue a slew of executive orders, but where is the funding going to come from to start this new government?
Okay. Well, thank you. So, given that, my one question, and then we'll go to Dr. Peabody, Tomalin, and then Kev. Are you on record, yes or no, will you audit the outgoing government to be elected president today? Are you going to do a full-fledged audit?
No question asked. Definitely, you cannot inherit any administration, any office, any ministry without audit. You have got to audit and make that audit public as to what you are inheriting. And so when you start to make progress, you can easily tell the nation where your progress was made compared to what you met there. So to your question, it's an absolute yes. This outgoing government must be audited.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Cooper. You heard her. She said the outgoing government must be audited. The we are led government must be audited. So, Dr. Peabody, you go, and then Tomalin, and then Kev.
Ms. Cooper, great to hear you again. Let me ask you, you talk about the rule of law. If you were elected president, you were definitely going to change the rule of law. What specifically are you talking about? What area do you plan upon election that the judicial reform that you plan to undertake? Exactly where do you plan to start from?
Look, for me, there are a series of things. We have a culture where folks in government are getting away with some of the most horrible actions and crime, starting with breaking or disrespecting our Constitution. You have so many Constitution bridges that no one is keeping record of. That's one area. Number two, when you look at the legal system across the country, our circuit courts, our court system, the court system is overwhelmed, absolutely overwhelmed. Cases cannot be brought to the forefront because the courts don't have the resources needed to get the right representation. We have got to make sure our courts support our courts across the country, be it circuit courts. We have to have the support in there to be able to judge those cases that's coming to the table. What are we going to digitize our systems within the court? We cannot continue to operate on these analog systems that we have. When cases come, depending on who you know, you're export to the table. We have got to make sure our law enforcement agencies are fully supported. We have got to make sure our borders are protected. There's so many areas where we're not functioning. There's a blockage. And across the board, our police officers, our immigration officers, our border patrol, even our military, the army. What is the blockage? Why aren't the funds that is earmarked for those agencies going to those agencies? Why we have established this, what do you call it, the harmonization? That was a disaster because harmonization happening for certain individuals and not across the board. So when you talk about reforms, there's a need for reforms across the board. Major reforms across the board. Because what's being done right now to our legal system, it's a joke. You have a handful of really good lawyers in this country, good people. But the system they're operating within is corrupt, and they cannot function in a corrupt system because the legal system is supposed to be an area where ethics, not morals, but ethics is respected.
That's a definite. We definitely need to fix our court system because we have a lot of cases, including rape cases, a lot of cases that
That's
are
right.
just going on and nothing's being done. We also saw the impeachment of Kabina Jana. I'm not sure your thought about that. Can you please share light on
That's
that
right.
quickly? And then we go to Tomalin and then Keff.
Well, we all know that the actions taken against Kabina, Mr. Jano is the same thing that's happened to the minister from telecom. The same thing. Just someone who stands in your way, you get rid of them. But congratulations to him for winning his case at the ECOWAS court. And I hope they pay his resources that's due to him. So it's a sign of George Weah trying to be an authoritarian, an autocracy leadership or leader. And anyone who steps in his way and challenge him, he wants to get rid of them, get them to lose their job.
That's right. Okay, Tomalin, you're next, and then Keff.
Madam Cooper, you are a political firebrand. I see you. I see the
Can you
desire
hear me?
for.
Yes, we can hear you, Dr. Peabody.
I mean, or not Peabody.
No, Dr. Peabody wanted to
Oh,
know if you can hear. No, Tomalin, go ahead.
yeah, I see you are a political firebrand. You have that passion, that desire for to see liberal changed. But you still running. And do you think, as the time goes, you're going to change to rally your support with the opposition candidates? Right now, you have two main candidates, two. One person already got a ticket, boycott, and Cummings. I think in the next 24 hours he will announce his VP pick, and it's a one. But do you think you're gonna use your energy and that vibe you have for the opposition by joining one of them to campaign aggressively and for them to win the election? Are you still going to remain in the race to contest?
I'm going to be a strong force in the 2023 election, that's for sure. And I'm going to, like you said, there will be some big announcements coming up over the next few weeks. I will be announcing some big things, and you guys will be the first one, maybe amongst the first ones I come to make that announcement. But one thing for sure, my love for country, my passion for this country, for the betterment, to make a better Liberia, and opposition win in 2023 is my focus. And so over the next few weeks, you'll be hearing from me nationally, and I'll be telling you what I'll be doing for this 2023 election because my mind is made up. The Liberian people have spoken, and we want an opposition win. So, by all means necessary, what is required to have an opposition win is what I'm committed to doing. But without going in further details on what that's going to be, I will have to wait until the press conference before I decide to share that. But I will say this much. My overall agenda for 2023 presidential election is an opposition win. I want an opposition-led government come 2023. So I will do everything within Magdala Cooper's power to make sure that happens.
Well, it seems as though my prediction is that I see Ambassador, Her Excellency Ambassador Magdala Cooper. I see her in the coming weeks. Once the tickets are all announced, I see her making some, perhaps an endorsement to join some forces. That's what I predict. I see. But my last question.
I don't know. You gotta wait. You gotta wait for the press conference.
I know. But I mean, anyway, politics. But again, I see you. So you don't fight. You're very fiery. You are that firebrand person, and I'm looking forward. And I see as the campaign gets near, will we see fiery Magdala Cooper on the campaign trail that we have not seen before, that we didn't see last in 2017? Will you keep the gloves on, or will you go all out to make your case to the Liberian people why the opposition should be given a chance over President Weah? Will you see a different Magdala Cooper that we saw in 2017?
Oh yes, we're gonna shake this up. We have to shake this up. We have got to remind the people what's at stake. We have got to fight for Liberia because our children's lives depend on it. Our children's future depends on it. The future of Mama Liberia depends on it. And so we're going to shake this up. We're going to have to shake this up to the point where we get rid of all the bad seeds in the bunch. We're going to have to get rid of the bad seeds. Otherwise, everybody else is going to get contaminated. And so it's better to get rid of the sore now than to let the sore get bigger. And then we leave it to just get, just rot up our leg before then all of a sudden we have to cut it out. So we're going to have to remove the fungus before the fungus contaminates the rest of the country.
Wow. Get rid of bad seeds, remove the fungus. Keff, go ahead with your question.
Madam Cooper, a couple of weeks or days ago, I turned on Facebook. I was reading some of the posts about your appearance in another network, and some say you had that Congo and Native tone. They say you talk about Mr. Cummings that in terms of Congo, saying that he is not resonating because of his Congo and all that. Country people need to get their government. I need you to talk more on that. I didn't listen to it, but I was just reading one or two stuff that they said. They say you on another platform. You said, can you elaborate on that?
Look, I'm in a position to build a strong opposition. We're not going to tear down each other in the opposition if we're serious about opposition win. What I said 2 weeks ago was said, it was done. It was bridge underwater. Cummings and I spoke, and we have come to a conclusion on that. But we got to face the fact. We have got to face the fact of the reality that is in front of us right now. The reality is we have got to do some opinion surveys and find out who these people are going to vote for, who the voters are going to vote for. If the voters are not looking in the Cummings direction, we got to be realistic. If the voters are not looking forward to the Gonglo direction or the Cooper we have to be realistic and say who the people are looking at. So no one should feel sensitive towards that. We have got to heal this country. We have got to focus on bringing opposition leadership in place to start the healing process of this nation.
That's right. We gotta
Yeah.
heal the nation. Go ahead,
But
Dr. Peabody.
let me
Oh,
ask.
Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah. Let me ask you my second question. Let me ask you. I know you're a professional woman. You do know your internal polling. You're aware of other pollings that happening around. At this moment, if election happened today, if today was election day, who you think will come on top? Who you think, according to your own internal polling, what happening right now? Who you think on top?
Like I said, we have a press conference that will be coming up very soon. We'll be giving out some statistics on the polling that was done, and that will be able that with that polling results, we will be able to share with the general public some of the reasons why we are taking the direction we're taking, and so we cannot prematurely give out too much. But at the press conference, that question will be answered.
The question will be answered, but right now you can tell us that according to your own internal polling, who is on top on the race of 2023. You cannot tell us.
Right. I will share that with you in a week, like this coming week or so.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, thank you so much once again to our viewers. Thank you for watching this show. This is a fascinating program today. We will be going to the phone lines very soon within the next 3 to 4 minutes. Madam Cooper, VP Peaks, we talk about a little bit of it about Joseph Neiman Boyka, Ambassador Boyka, and Mr. Cummings. Tomalin just broke news today that Mr. Cummings is set to announce his VP peaks within the next 48 hours. What about your VP peak? Are you looking at a male, female, or what is your process for a VP peak? Have you started that process yet?
We have, and that's going to be part of the announcement we're making next week.
Okay, wonderful. And we're going to spend one more moment on opposition unity, just 1 minute before we go on to the phone lines. We already talked about it somewhat. Is there anything else? Is it important that we have opposition unity? I see there's a flyer that's going around that shows all the major oppositions on that flyer. Why is it so important this year? Why is opposition unity so very important this year? Is there something, can you shed light on that so the Liberian people can understand why are we pushing for opposition unity this year during this year's election?
Opposition leadership is the only way we can defeat a united opposition. Is the only way we can defeat this sitting government. Because you have to keep in mind they have the access to all of our resources, our cars, our vehicles, our airplanes, our money. They have more ammunition or arsenal than we in the opposition do. And so without unity within the opposition, look, no one individual party is going to win this thing. I don't care whether you're the largest party with the highest number of members or the smallest party. We have got to put our arsenals together to defeat this government, and that's all we are focused on doing. And so bringing the opposition together, leaving the egos and the sensitivity out of it, is what we must do. We cannot go anywhere without unity, because we have to put our best foot forward and make sure, based on survey and opinion polls, we have got to put the best two individuals forward to win. And so whoever that two is from the opposition are the two we must put in the first round, not the second round, the first round. We have got to leave the egos outside the door.
Tomalin, is there anything you want to add in terms of question regarding opposition unity?
Yeah, Madam Cooper, tonight, anyone listening to you tonight, for the opposition side, I think they will take cue and feel very confident that that the opposition, at least coming from the opposition side, you guys are planning to rally together, to come together. Uh, but like you said something important. You said the poll would tell you where the people are thinking. I mean, where the people are looking, which direction they are looking, and will help make your decision. But at this time, one would think that opposition, you guys have agreed to come together, even if you guys are going on separate tickets, to say, well, let us form this pact that we're gonna meet every week to compare notes and consider ourselves like how they have the NATO alliance, and attacking one person is an attacking all, or we
There's
all
a
gonna.
lot of noise in the background. There's a lot of background noise. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't know if my hand.
Maybe it's
Someone has
coming
to
from
mute
the
their
studio.
microphone.
It might be coming from the studio because everybody else is mute.
So yeah, but are you guys thinking
Okay.
about coming together, like forming a pact to say, well, let us meet every week to compare notes and make sure we are all together, and that our whole attack should be directed at one group, the ruling establishment, and not at each other? Because what we see the last couple of weeks is opposition attacking opposition. They are showing mudslinging at each other. Then they are fighting among themselves. I mean, is that what you're gonna do to ensure that stops and you guys just focus on one mission, or you guys will continue this way, everybody doing their own things?
No, we cannot continue to do our own thing. And that is why I have, myself along with others have been pleading with the leadership, leaders, especially the elders of of the opposition bloc, to come together under not one umbrella, meaning that you give up your party and join forces, but we have got to come together to win. We cannot do our own thing. And based on the opinion of polls and surveys, that's going to remind people that, look, you are just not votable. No, you're not going to get any vote from one district. We've already looked at the country across the board, and we already know. But I cannot be premature to make that announcement here. We know who's votable and who's not, right? Of course, a lot can change in 24 hours, but we have got to remind folks that this is not a sensitive issue. This is not an ego issue. This is about Liberia and rescuing Liberia. And we have got to look at those opinion polls and see who is electable based on the opinion of the voters, not just because you think highly of yourself and you think because you're so intelligent, or you think you're so sharp, or you think you're so this or so that. We have got to look at those polls and say, look, you just don't have the numbers. You see that happening all over the world. Liberia should be no different. And so once we display that numbers in front of people and say, look, this is what the voters think about you. This is how much vote you're going to get. These are the votes that you're not going to get. We're not going to waste our time behind you or you or you. The people are going to tell us amongst us which one they're going to vote for. And so we're going to shock some people because, once you have this ego, it's very hard to get rid of. But we are going to have to be realistic about this. If you're not electable, we're not going to put you on the top of the ticket. And not that I have the choice to do so. I don't have the authority or the power to do so, but the opinion polls will show.
So, but Cooper, we gotta go to the phone lines real quick. But I just want to bring up real quickly the Farmington Agreement. There were over, I believe, 20 political parties who were at the Farmington Hotel to sign the Farmington Accord Agreement on peace, sustaining a peace in Liberia. Can you share some lights on that? What do we need to do as a country, political aspirants, the government? What do we need to do as a country to make sure that as we go through this presidential and general election this year, that we make sure that the peace is sustained, is not compromised, and that we come out with a successful electoral process in Liberia?
Well, first, we signed the Farmington River Declaration this year, 2023, which included something different that wasn't there during the last election. There was a special emphasis on violence against women through the VAWI protocol. And the VAWI protocol specifically focuses on the prevention of violence against women in the election. And so that's an area that is of particular interest to me, because we've seen what happens when knuckleheads try to attack women for being strong and standing in their districts. It's always violence inflicted on women. They don't try to do it to their male counterparts because they know that male counterparts will knock their teeth out. So they go attack soft and women, women. But needless to say, the Farmington Declaration, and look, I'm going to say this. The reality of the Farmington Declaration, I think they need to start wasting people's time, because as good as it was to go to that room and hear people talk nice talk, but we really should start focusing on the group that always causes violence in election. You never hear about any other group besides the people that cross the street that causes violence in election. They're the ones that are always causing violence in election. Yes, I should be politically correct, but the reality is they know who they are. The troublemakers know who they are. And so when they bring us all to the table and say, oh, no violence in election, you hear me? I said, no, don't talk to me. Talk to the people who are always causing problems in elections. They know themselves very well. Talk to them. And so it was good. It was a ceremonial thing. But the reality is, let's wait and see what they're going to do, because you know who they are. And they know who they are.
Right. And quickly, before we go to the phone lines, the president left on Tuesday for the UK. The coronation event actually starts tomorrow. It's the 5th and the 6th. What are your thoughts on that? Some people are criticizing the president for leaving too early, which is Tuesday, when the event is actually scheduled for Saturday, especially given the budget constraints in the country right now as it relates to NEC, the challenges NEC has been facing, and also with paying the civil servants. What are your thoughts on the president's trip? Should he have left to go to this event? Because we know that there are some heads of states who are not even attending the coronation event this weekend. Even the president of the United States, the president for France, the head of Germany, Italy, even Zimbabwe, the president of Zimbabwe, among the few, China, they are not going to be at the coronation event this weekend. What are your thoughts about the president's presence this weekend and the fact that he even left a few days early prior to the event?
Well, we very well know that this president doesn't like to work. He likes free things. And so he's always very content to spend the government money that we don't already have. And so this has been part of his pattern for 5-6 years. You don't work, you don't produce nothing, but you just spend money on traveling with people who don't really contribute nothing to the country. Every time they go, they bring nothing back. And so what can we expect? Well, there's nothing new from these guys. They're so predictable. Where his group of cronies or his cronies, there's nothing new about them. This is why we're tired with that show. It's time to pack the show up and send it off to a different direction. And so there's nothing surprising here. They got a free trip to the UK. Folks who want to travel to the UK got all of them visas, and most of them will not come back. He went and spent a lot of money that we don't have as a nation, where he's not even a key invitee to the program. But yes, sir, he's gone to go spend our taxpayer money. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace on the part of our.
Hello? Okay. We'll be going to the... Are you there, Madam Cooper?
Yes, I am. Unfortunately, I may have to go very soon. I have another meeting that's waiting for me, but maybe I can give another 5 minutes or so of you guys, if I may ask for excuse.
That's fine. We are just about to wrap up anyway. Would you like for us to go ahead and take 2 calls and then you close and then you leave? Or you just want to
Sure,
go
sure,
ahead and
sure, absolutely.
so can we go to the phone lines real quick?
Yeah,
Yiba?
so 0880 60 33 60 0880 60 33 60 0775 60 33 60 are the numbers to call and form part of the show tonight on the closing argument.
So let's take 3 calls and then the closing statement.
Hello? Good evening. Hello? Hello, you're live. Yes, yeah, I'm getting you.
We can hear him.
Hello?
Can you try the next call?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead, you're live.
Thank you. I'm Emmanuel M. Super Jr. I join you this evening from a resident into committee. Let me say good evening to the panelists and the Ambassador Mandela Cooper. The ambassador is predictable because the last time I listened to her, she openly supported Mr. Cummings. So it is a clear thing that she won't be contesting this 2023 election. She's going to be supporting Mr. Boyka.
Supported Mr. Who?
He said on another network that
He said
Mr.
Cummings.
live. Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Thank you. I hope I'm protected. I listened to Ambassador Mandela Cooper when she said that Mr. Cummings, has a American name or Congo name, and because of that, that name is not resonating with the people of Liberia. In fact, she speaks in native language, so the people still have problem with her Cooper name. She has to mingle with them to show that she's indeed a Liberian. Someone from the country divide, but on this platform, she's telling us that she's going to have a press conference where she's going to direct or support. But I think she should be clear and tell us that, what she said in part, she still stands by it, that she's not going to support any other person apart from on her black guy. But then I think it's going to be unfortunate because President George we are going to be re-elected. So if there's a personal vendetta, I think she needs to put it away and serve her country first. Thank you very much for affording me the time.
Thank you.
Okay, 2 more calls.
Good evening.
Hello.
Yeah, you're live.
Yeah, this is Henry Andrews calling from Johnsonville.
Okay, let's hear you.
Yeah, I really want to ask the lady, the Mandela Cooper lady. Is it true that you have time of the current president, President William?
No, we're not gonna go. We're not gonna go into that.
Yes,
We're not gonna go into that.
not.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
Next caller.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Nyenwolo calling from Barnsley this evening. Yeah, thank you so much for the show. And Madam Cooper, my question to you is, during the 2017 election, what was the percentage accrued by you throughout the country, and what percentage do you expect to get in the 2023 election? And more besides, you said you draw private investors.
Okay, this is the last call because our guest has to go, and she will do her closing argument and address the calls.
Hello?
Good evening, you're live.
Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Hi. Okay, I'm Jeanette and I call from Canada. I'm just calling while listening to Madam Cooper. It sounds to me like she has something very personal against the government, not to really change it. I think she just, when we're talking about changing Liberia, I don't think we're talking about changing the faces of people. We're talking about changing the system. Because if she's just saying the opposition at this time just need to come together, doesn't matter what it is, who it is. I'm afraid, I think she needs to deal with her personal, whatever she has personally, and like, let's think Liberia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to our callers. Unfortunately, we cannot take any more calls right now because our special guest, Madam Mandela Cooper, presidential hopeful has to go. Madam Cooper, please go ahead. You can feel free to address the calls and also your closing statement at this time.
Well, there wasn't really much to address, so I would just say thank you for having me on this platform. There was no question. People called to make some opinions, and I don't think I need to respond to opinions that's just not in my purview or that's not part of my agenda. My agenda is Liberia, and that's why I focus on making sure there's a strong opposition to defeat the sitting government. There's nothing personal. When you talk about something personal and feeling hurt, and I'm not crying here. I'm not feeling hurt about anything. I just feel a severe love for this nation and empathy towards those who are really struggling in this day and age. 2023, and some children don't have education. We still have people going to hospitals with commonly curable disease, and they're coming out with not without success stories. And so I want to see my country better. I want to raise my children in this country. There's no personal vendetta here. It's nothing but love for our country and a desire to see this country be better. So to the panelists, I want to say thank you for having me on here today. Let's keep fighting for a unified opposition, and let's make sure the opposition wins 2023.
Thank you so much, Madam Cooper, for coming on our show on the closing argument today. We are so honored to have you, our only female presidential candidate in the race this year, and we look forward to seeing you back on the closing argument sometime very soon, where we can continue to discuss national issues and also talk more about the opposition unity and the priorities that the voters are facing that will cause them to make a decision one way or the other on October 10. On behalf of our crew, we'd like to once again say many, many thanks to you.
You're welcome. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome, my sister.
And we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Likewise. Good night.
Good night. Okay. Studio, is she gone? So we're going to do our quick closing statements. We got 4 more minutes to go. So we can go ahead and start. Tomalin, Keff, Dr. Peabody.
Well, look, as the time draws near for the elections, depending on which side you find yourself, you would take a side, and you would definitely try to propagate your message. From what I see tonight, Madam Cooper, she's thirsty for change. She really wants to see the government out of power. I believe she will use all her energy, all her efforts to work hard to campaign with opposition to ensure that this government is not re-elected. She's you hear her in her own words, and I'm sure that next week her press conference will centered around her making an endorsement. I'm not too sure that she will be on the ballot. From what I see tonight, I'm sure she will be making an endorsement, especially when the major tickets have been formed. By this time next week, we sure will know who President Weah will be going against. He already knows he's going against Boyka and Kong, and he will know who coming to be will be having as VP. So they are getting ready, perhaps, to come together and support one of the opposition guys and see that they win. So I can see her. She's already in election mode, campaign mode. She's fiery. She will be aggressive. She will be all on the campaign trail, making her case and that of the opposition. So let's see what will happen. I'm sure the ruling party got people to counter her too. I'm sure they'll get a strategy, and it'll be fun. That's why we keen to refill. In the next few months, we'll be back in Liberia to make sure that we part of that process to see on the campaign trail who wins the election. But the election as I end is an open election. Nobody will tell you say this person will win convincingly. I hear people say they'll win the first round, but from what I saw in Liberia, the wheeling and dealings that are going on, a lot of wheeling and dealings going on and so forth. We'll see more. But yeah, with that, the tickets are all formed. You guys are gonna see fun, but it'll be an interesting election. So we look forward to it. But it was a good interaction with her. That's why we couldn't see her, but we pray as time goes by, we'll get things better.
So, Tomalin, you broke news on the show today. You said, was that real breaking news that Mr.
Well,
Cummings will be
like I'm
naming his VP pick pretty soon? Any idea who that person might be, male, female?
well, I know that I know
Is it Madam Lawrence, Senator
I know I know
Lawrence?
I know for the last 48 hours they have been having a series of meetings going on, and people that part of the meetings we are all getting updates from them, and that the last one I received today was while on the show. Progress was made today and was encouraging. So we look forward to see what they're doing in their camp. But I'm sure, because don't forget, ANC going for convention on the 12th in Ganta, and most of the
This
folks,
month?
yes, they're
This
going.
month?
Yeah, they'll be in Ganta for the convention. So, and hope to come up with the ticket for that convention. So I'm sure either prior to going to the convention, it will be announced. But I'm sure, but I can tell you, in the next 2 hours or so, we sure will hear something from the ANC camp.
Okay, I know there was a meeting recently held that's trending in the news as well between Musa Ability and Senator Lawrence. Anything you care to share? Any light on that?
I,
Ben
I,
is not here.
I know I call him the most powerful political party chairman in Liberia, the Honorable Musa Hassan Benete.
We heard the meeting only lasted for 1 minute.
Well, I know Musa have been meeting since last week. In fact, prior to for us we're going to Sakla PA, where he's running. A meeting was held that day again. He been meeting every day. In fact, it's throughout. He just having meetings, series of meetings going on, and then so he's trying to really put a ticket together. So whatever ticket comes announced, Musa will be part of that. He'll be part of that person, that ticket being formed. He'll be part of that. Yeah, it will be something that he won't say I wasn't informed. He'll be involved in that person who will be selected.
So is Senator Lawrence on the list? Because they said that they met for less than 1 minute. What are
Well,
you what are
I know.
you hearing
Well,
about the 1 minute
I know
meeting?
they're meeting everybody. They're meeting everybody. So
And I've been seeing flyers on the social media that has Cummings and Senator Lawrence. I
yeah, but
don't
you
know
see,
who's
but you saw what happened.
distributing the flyers.
You saw PYJ, right? When Baka and I announced that, PYJ said, Sonny, before they mention him, I will announce. So PYJ again.
He went ahead of the game, right?
And one thing I hear people saying, look, people better focus on election, focus on the campaign. All that thing about the person, America, all the person, the town to the person wasting their time. Like, people not thinking about that way. People go vote. You better be prepared to give your message to the people and start talking about it won't happen. You better I give two guys on ANC. I give them credit. Or Duke Estrada, JJ, and Emerick Nico. These two guys, the guys they're in a jungle of Liberia. They've been in a jungle of Liberia for the last 1 month. In fact, we flew together from Liberia. They've been in a jungle. These guys been going through a lot trying to put a message across. And I give them credit though. I say if you guys had done it early, maybe you guys would have made some significant progress. But they are real people. Other people that be going like bro, I don't know what they're going for, but they guys they really working hard. They're working hard.
So from what you're hearing, Tomalin and then Dr. Peabody, because we got to go in the next 2 minutes, just this last one. From what you're hearing, will Mr. Cummings VP candidate make a difference? Will it help to fill that void that everybody is talking about, whether in the diaspora or on the ground, that he really, really needs? Of course, there is this saying that the voters don't vote for the VP candidate, they vote for the presidential candidate. Whosoever that's on his short list or that he's going to pick, from what you're hearing, is that going to make a difference for him for the campaign? And in bringing in more people, will it make a difference at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the reason why Cummings have been very, very mindful about how he make his pick. Because make no mistake, our politics in Liberia are all tribal politics.
Right.
And I will say this: if any a particular county or region see their son or daughter on a ticket, make no mistake, they will go for that ticket. So when people say, "Oh, it matters," because if I know that I'm from my Gibi and I'm on a ticket, my Gibi people will say, "Well, we know I experienced presidency or vice president before, so we'll go for our son." I don't care what happened; they will go for that person. So it's important that he selects someone from a vote-rich county too that can help you on his on the ticket. So I'm sure that's what he's looking at, and from as he narrowed down his pick, I'm sure that he'll be making an announcement that whoever comes on the ticket will boost the ticket. Because in America, after convention, when they announce the tickets, they either get a boost or a bounce in the poll, something of that nature. And
Right.
I was in Liberia and I saw the announcement of Boyka and Kun. When that ticket was announced, I mean, I saw the reaction from across the country and so forth. But so we'll see what happens in the Cummings case. Whether it will be a bounce or boost for him, we'll see it. So
Right.
I'm sure that whoever he selects will definitely be someone to help him on the camp on his quest for the presidency.
Okay. Kev, and then Dr. Peabody.
Well, when people discussing about VP pick and all that, all the discussing about is one thing they're missing: the people. Okay, go. All the saying, go and pick this person, but nothing for the people. Uh, where I live, I know when they choosing a VP pick, is somebody who they have the same values, somebody who they has the same beliefs from the same arena of politics. But what I'm hearing, oh, choose Peter, choose Mary, choose this person. So if you choose a certain people with that sell to the Liberian people, and we keep doing the same mistakes every time, expect to have a different result. And that's a point of insanity. Uh, I would love for us to have a debate in the country, in Liberia, about, uh, for example, let me give this. JMB pick Jeremiah Coons. Jeremiah Coons vote for the government and the government bills 100%. He see he agree with the president 100%. He with the president in everything. Then you pick him. Then he's saying talking against the president. We're not holding Jeremiah Coons to his record. Our Liberians are not stupid. No, they are not. You know why? Because the voters are smart. The voters know Jeremiah Coons' record. Then the person will say, let me pick this person. Because the opposition taking the Liberian people for granted and they feel that it's stupid, and the Liberian people will show that we're not stupid. You know, you will not come and just say, I pick Jeremiah Coons because he's from vote rich. What about his record? What about his voting record? Jeremiah Coons agreed with the president that the president taking the country in the right direction. He agreed with the president. And you know whom I witnessed that Jeremiah Coons agreed with the president?
We are witness, Kev.
Tomalin George and Dr. Peabody was sitting down in Boulevard. Jeremiah Coons was with us. He agreed with the government. These two guys were there who said that. At Boulevard.
But he's a senator now. I mean, there's nothing wrong as a government official sitting down
What
with
his
the
position
president.
as a senator got to do with agreeing with the president and believe with the president and vote with the president because he's a senator and he does have a voting power, oversight power. He agreed with the president. He sat with us.
But when you say he agreed, Kev, that's a relative term.
No,
Of
I'm not
course,
saying
the president is the president. He has to be.
no. I'm not saying agree with the president based on
Uh-huh.
mouth saying on his record of voting.
On his record of voting.
Yes, on his
Okay.
record on. Listen, when they pass a bill on his record in the Senate, he agreed with the president.
So you know what? That voting record and Senator Kuhn, I'm sure we'll be doing a talk show when the VP peaks, like Alexander Cummings, we'll be doing a comparative analysis, including
No, but
including
it's
VP
there.
Taylor. So,
It's there.
but
Let me
listen,
tell you this.
Jeff.
Yomni
Okay, and
Kanga,
we gotta go very soon.
Yomni Kanga, I've seen her in the
Mhm.
Senate
Mhm.
opposing the president agenda. I've seen DeLon doing that. But I'm seeing Jeremiah Kuhn fighting. And the reason I agree with Jeremiah Kuhn because he agreed
But
that
if
we
you
see
feel
the
he agree with
president.
the president, then you should be happy. And I'm sure that's not the case. He doesn't
No,
agree with the president.
listen, I'm
I
happy.
saw a video of Senator Kuhn, I think a few months ago, where he was this bogus pension bill for the legislature. He was vocal against that. There's several things that he has been vocal about in the Senate, where the legislature want to retire and making almost the same amount that they're making in office. You know, there are a lot of things that Senator Kuhn has advocated for, and those
let me
things
say
will
this to
come
you.
out when we do a comparative analysis of the various VP
Jackie,
picks,
slow down now. You the
including your
moderator.
VP pick.
Jackie, slow down. You the
So you
moderator.
don't have your own voting record of your VP pick, Kev.
But Jackie,
But we gotta
look,
go. We gotta go.
but
That's a show for a different day.
let me just say this one thing
Today,
before we go. Last,
okay, go ahead and say your
Jackie,
one thing before we go,
Jackie,
but make it very quick, because we gotta get
quick.
Peabody in, and then Dr. Peabody in, and then we go.
Yeah, Jackie, I'm hungry. I have to go eat. Let me say this: the pension bill is not from the president. That's all. It's not from the president. A pension bill they're talking about.
The president agrees with it.
No. 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 Go ahead, Dr. Peabody. Let's move on.
He said no.
No.
Senator Taylor agrees with it. I mean, VP Taylor agrees with it. So, Dr. Peabody, go ahead. Because Kevin and I will go back and forth and open another closing argument. Dr. Peabody, please chime in.
Well, you know, election is around the corner,
right?
And we'll see all these jabs and everything coming on. But I think I just want to go back to Mr. Cummings' pick. I think any presidential candidate, the vice president, the name of the vice president will bring a lot of traction to their party. You know, it will either make them or break them. So I think Mr. Cummings has been very careful here who he's going to select. I want to believe. Now we got one from the United Party, we got ANC. Now the real Tabata is about to start. You know, we're going to see, we're going to hear statement, we're going to hear blackmailing, we're going to hear various tape recordings and people talking about
tape recordings, Dr. Peabody. Oh my God, it's about to get hot.
Ask Kev knows about recordings and stuff. I heard Kev on another station yesterday and all of that. So it's gonna get
another station yesterday.
Yeah, it's gonna get interesting. He was a guest on they call him to verify on Freedom FM yesterday. So Kev was there yesterday and Kev calls Kev calls hullabaloo yesterday. I was getting called 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, please.
Oh, well, we need to talk about that on Monday. Oh my God. So our viewers stay tuned on Monday. It's going to be hot on Monday.
Yeah, the secret recording. But Look, to our viewers, just want to let them know that we are working on something in the to come on maybe another extra day, maybe on a weekend or Sunday. We're working on it. It's not clear, but we definitely, when everything gets together, maybe we'll come out on a Sunday, a surprise Sunday afternoon. We'll be coming up and let you guys know. But for now, we just still working on different stuff. So bear with us. I know sometimes you're frustrated about us coming on late and things like that. But pretty soon you will see the changes and what is coming up. But let me say here that I got a favorite saying that at the end of the day, the Liberian people will vote for who they want. I will end there. Thank you.
Oh, that's nice, Dr. Peabody. I like that. The Liberian people will vote for who they want. That's
Yes,
a fact. And
yes.
I'm going to close by saying that we only got 6 more days till voter registration ends. It ends May 11. I believe that's next week, Tuesday. So all the citizens in the remaining 9 counties, please make sure that you continue to go out and register to vote, despite the technical glitches that we're still hearing about and all the other challenges. Please go out and vote. And I would like to thank our viewers on behalf of our panelists, our staff, KMTV, our producer, and Hot FM. We would like to thank all the viewers for tuning in today, and to our special guest ambassador, Her Excellency Madam Magdala Cooper, the only female in the presidential race. And as a female, I am so very excited, and I was especially excited to have her on our show today. We are honored to have her. We look forward to seeing her back on the program on the closing argument. To our viewers, thank you for your patience today. We had some technical difficulties today, but you stuck in there and you hung in there with us. So we'll see you on Monday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time, US time, and 8:30 p.m. Liberian time. So please click like and share this show. We will see you on Monday. Thank you so much to our producers. Yeba, you are super, super, super. Thank you so much for being there with us.
Have a good night, guys. Have a good weekend. Tomalin, I'll call you later. We need to we
Tomalin,
need
feel
to
better.
we need to reconvene by 2 later on tonight and just talk some stuff. All right,
Yes,
guys.
yes.
Jackie, I got a constitution, so
Oh, you
about it.
have it.
Yeah, about yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. The Liberian Constitution, that's my Bible, and we'll be using it on the show on a regular basis. Thank you so much. And everyone, have a wonderful weekend.
Good
Yeba,
night
I
in
hope you
Liberia.
have a good weekend. Bye.
All the folks.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, folks, thanks for watching KMTV and listening to the show, The Closing Argument on Her FM 107.9. And we were also live in Bomi County on Puma FM 106.3. Till we come your way on Monday. Good night.